Okay, so here we are in Walkthroughs template. I want to make a cube first, so I will go ahead and delete everything else, and we will go into the player 1 symbol and delete the fill. I want to make a 4 times symmetrical cube first, so we will make a new layer and start making our symbols. Let's see, so we make our square, go ahead and double click on the outside and delete that stroke, and we can align it to the center, just like here. We will turn it into a symbol with F8, and then we copy and paste, align it to the top, and flip it clockwise. So transform. We could also use the hotkey Control-Shift-9. So copy paste that, line it up, and Control-Shift-9. Copy and paste, line it up, Control-Shift-9. And now we have our symbol set up. We can go into any one of our 4 symbols, delete the white, and now we can just start working. So for this line, it should be stroke 2 and black. I think I'll just start with a little line here and curve it a little. All right. Maybe sort of make a floral type look. If I can get the skills to do that, that would be nice. Something like that. Maybe take out our circle tool and just throw something down, delete the centers. And I don't know, make this a bit bigger maybe, hold down shift so it stays a circle. Something like that looks nice, maybe just line it up a little bit more. Okay, so that's looking good. But I want to make this be more near the outline, so I'll just take maybe about here and just bring it right to the edge. Maybe bring it around here like so. Right up against the edge, maybe curve that out a bit, and connect it up somewhere over here. Curve that as well. So now this is looking kind of spherical. Yeah, that looks nice. So now if we double click outside, and if we hide the outline, this is what our cube would look like. I think this is good. Although I do want to kind of connect these up to something, so I might just connect them right here. Make this a little curvy, and I'm liking the look of this. So let's go into this symbol, highlight everything. There's no fill, so we can just go ahead and expand to fill. Oh, whoops. Sometimes this will happen. What I would probably do here is just select this and do that, and then select everything else. Although you get this problem where it's not really lined up now, so we can just kind of add a little line here just to make sure it's looking good. Make sure everything's expanded because we just added a line. And then we can go outside this, select all 4 of our symbols, and break them apart with Control B. Expand to fill again just to make sure. And now we will take out our stroke tool, set the stroke size to 1, the ink bottle tool, and click on the very outside to make the perimeter just slightly thicker. And now if we zoom out, it's looking good. So now what we would do, go all the way out. Oh, but of course I forgot to make this outline go away. We can just delete that layer. And now we can take this symbol and just copy and paste it. I'll bring it to the center just because why not. Double click, just make sure it's expanded to fill. And try it again. And yeah, that's looking good. So now I will try to decide where I want the different colors to be. I think it makes sense for this huge middle part to be player 1 color, as well as these 4 outside bits. Then I will just copy all of those, drag them aside, and we want to make them bigger, so I will go to Modify, Shape, Expand Fill, 2 pixels, and that's looking good. So now I can group it up, Control X to cut and delete, go back over to our symbol, go inside of it, make a new layer at the very bottom, paste it in, and align it to the center. And that is looking good. And now we have to make our player 2 color, so click all the way out, and we can just fill in everywhere where we didn't before. Select those all up, drag them aside, do the same thing we did before with the expand and fill. I just have a hotkey set up, which is quite convenient. group it up, Control X, go into our Player 2 color, delete that square, and align this into the center. And now I'll go out and go into the extra layer because I just want to make it transparent for now so we can see it. This is looking pretty good, but I think some shading might be a little bit nice. So what I will do is go into here, make a new layer at the top. I will draw some shading, let's see, just like so, and right about here maybe, and whoops, just kind of curve that line so it looks nice. Yeah, I think that'll look good. So now what I will do is copy and paste that, Control-Shift-V to paste in place. I will press Q to bring up the transform menu, take this anchor point and bring it towards the center, and what that does is now, just make sure that's right in the middle. What this anchor thing allows us to do is now when we want to rotate it, so right outside this corner, see the rotate tool? When it rotates, it'll rotate around that anchor point, and I will hold down Shift so it snaps to 45-degree angles. Copy and paste in place again, and we can just keep dragging this around, and it will be perfectly in place everywhere, which is incredibly handy. If we look at this again, that shading is looking good. Although I also want to make sure I do the stroke, so I'll just take out my ink bottle tool, get all these settings into place, stroke size of 1, and right on the outside. Oh, I'm sorry, that should be 4. I'm thinking of expanding the stroke, or the outline. Right there. Double-click that line, Control-X that thing, and we can replace this glow by going inside the symbol, deleting it, pasting our new glow, and aligning it to the center. Okay, I still like how this icon is looking. I just want to make sure that this outside, because it does seem like a whole lot of yellow, or whatever the player 1 color is. Something I might try doing here is adding some highlights to the very outer edges of this. I don't know if I'll keep it, but just to see what it looks like, and for the purposes of this tutorial. So I will go over here, and I will take out my line tool. And let's see, where do I want it? Something like here. Oh, right. If you do want to drag around the extra layer, what you'll want to do is make a new layer to do this. And then you can do this without having to worry about everything else changing. And something like that, I think will look good if I can get it. Yeah. And then I copy everything on the outside. I go over to here, expand to fill, and I paste in place. And now we can take this, and it looks good. And I will Control-X that. We can also, yeah. Oh, I was going to say we could delete this layer, but now this is on the second layer, so we won't do that quite yet. But we can go into the extra layer now, delete this square, paste this line, and drag it into place. Use our arrow keys to line it all up. That looks about right. And now we will do the same thing we did before, where we copy and paste in place, press Q, go over to the rotation section, and hold Shift. Forgot one important part. Gotta drag the anchor point to the center of this symbol, or else it'll rotate around itself rather than around the outside of the symbol, which is quite important for what we're doing. Right, and now, because I don't just want white, I want white highlights, go back in here, and I will change all of these opacities to 30. So now, yeah, especially here, you can see it. And that looks a little bit less flat now. And sometimes looking flat is a good thing, but for this icon, I just wanted to make it look a little bit more dynamic. So this is our first cube icon. And now let's move on to a UFO. Alright, we're back with the template, and now let's make a UFO. So I will just go ahead and delete everything else, and just for convenience purposes, I will group up the UFO and bring it to the center, and break it back apart. Just so we don't have to keep scrolling to the very edge like we did last time. So, As usual, we're going to start with the player 1 color, double click into it, and delete this part. Most UFOs are going to be symmetrical around the center, so we're going to make a new layer and get some symmetry going. Make the square, delete the stroke, you know the drill by now. Align it like so, turn it into a symbol with F8, copy and paste that, align it there, and now we can flip it horizontally. And we can go into either of these symbols and delete the white. Now for UFOs, the most common line thickness is around 2, sometimes going as far as 1.5, so I'll just set this to 2, and we can start drawing. Let's see, so what kind of shape do I want to make? I kind of want to see what I can do with some things poking out here. I don't know, maybe draw a line here, kind of going out like so. And, okay, since these things kind of blend in, I'm going to go back and take this fill and just kind of lower the opacity. So then when we go in, we can see how this looks a little bit better. What else do I want to do? Maybe have some other things going out, maybe connect these, go out a bit. I kind of want to add a circle, so I'll do that. Delete the fill, and put it around here. I'm just kind of messing around since I don't really have any specific ideas right now. If you do have a specific idea, you can always do that instead of just messing around with lines like I do most of the time. So I'm still just kind of throwing stuff down, see what looks good. Maybe I can connect these here. If you want to connect like these two lines of a symbol like this, you just kind of have to eyeball it, and you can kind of curve it so it's one big curve across all of it. Although I don't want it that high. Something like that would look good. And let's see, what else can I do? I might have a line about here, curving this way. So we kind of have this layered thing going on. No, I don't like that. Let's see. This thing, it should be a little more perfected. These parts, okay. I kind of want to extend this line further, so I can go into the transform menu, select here, and hold Alt as I drag. Sometimes it just kind of doesn't work. I think it works better when you have a completely straight line, like that. So in this case, I would just kind of eyeball it. It doesn't really matter if it's 100% straight. Yeah, okay. And now I kind of want a circle in the middle, so I will go back out. I will draw my circle, and I can just align it using these align tools to get it perfectly centered. I will use this back circle as a sort of reference, and now I can go back into the symbols and delete this part of the lines so that the circle is on top. At this point, I'm going to make this outline even harder to see because I don't want to get in the way of seeing what my icon looks like. And now I kind of want something down here, so, what would look best? I think I'll go out here, make an ellipse, and align it here, and drag it up. I'm holding Shift as I'm dragging so that it stays straight, and I'll keep it right about there. Maybe a little bit higher. And again, I can go back into my symbols and delete these parts so that the oval doesn't interfere with them. Actually, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to delete this part of the ellipse that's kind of overlapping. Well, I'm just going to Control X that so it doesn't interfere, and I can just delete these parts. Whoops. Just delete these parts of the ellipse. It might be better if I would have put it on a different layer than this circle, because I don't want to delete this symbol, I just want to delete this part of the ellipse. So, there I just shift-clicked it on the symbol since it was selected, and it deselected it. I'll do the same over here, so I can just select that, deselect that and deselect this symbol and delete that. Now I'll go back into the symbol and let's see, I'm going to redraw this and just have it connect here. Maybe I could have done that earlier, maybe it would have been easier. And that's looking pretty nice. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I don't know, I'm vibing with it. Okay, that looks better if I curve it up like so. And maybe extend this a little bit. It isn't perfectly symmetrical, so what I might try to do is delete this half of it and just copy over the left half. So just like that. And then I can take this part, copy and paste in place with Control-Shift-V, and then I will just scoot it over with my arrow keys, and I will flip it horizontally. And I will line it up as best as I can, and then select both of them and distribute horizontal center so that they become perfect. Yeah. And let's see, this part looks a little bit imperfect, but if you zoom out, you can't really see it, so I'm just gonna roll with it. Let's see, what else? And you can always, of course, peek back at these to see how it's looking. This is good, but I might want to kind of take a hint from this preview and put a little bit more over. So I'm going to take this and just kind of bring it up a little bit and drag them to connect. And that's looking good. So now I'll go into the innermost symbol, expand to fill. Then I will take everything outside of the symbol and expand to fill that, as well as breaking apart these parts of the symbol and expand to filling. And so now we can take out our ink bottle, and since the outer lines of this are usually 2.5 and we drew in 2, I'm only going to set this to 0.5. Click on the outside, and that's looking good. It might even have looked better if we made these inner lines slightly smaller, because you can go as low as about 1.5, though at this point it's probably too late to change it, and I think this looks good enough as it is. So now I will click out, just kind of see how that looks. It's hard to see. Oh, right, one thing I keep forgetting, I always forget this step. Gotta delete that outline so that it doesn't show up here. It's kind of hard to color it in with all this extra stuff here. So what I'm going to do is take the extra layer, turn it down to 0 opacity for now, and I'm going to make the glow right now. So I will take this, copy and paste it, or hold Alt and click and drag, and break it apart. Okay, and then it does have that part, so the extra stroke part, so I'll just expand to fill once more, take out my stroke, or my ink bottle tool, set the stroke size to 4, and white, click on the very outside, double click that, Control X to copy and delete, go into the glow layer, delete, and align. And it is slightly off-center, that does happen sometimes, especially with non-cubes and balls, so I'm just going to use my arrow keys to scooch it up until it looks about right. I think about there is good. Yeah, and you don't really worry about what it looks like up here, that's just how it is in game. And now I will also make the player 2 color transparent, just for now, just so I can kind of see this better. And yeah, this is looking good. So I will take this extra piece and figure out where I want my player 1 color to be. Let's see. I think I want to keep this middle part white. Sometimes that just happens with UFOs. So I will color in parts outside. These two parts here, I think, are just going to be kind of in the background. I mean, not in the background, they're going to be hollow. I think I'll make this player 1. And so these 4 parts will be player 2. Although it might look better if this is player 2. I can try out both, it doesn't hurt. So I will select those all, drag them aside, expand fill 2 pixels, just like before, and go into the player 1 color, make a new layer, put at the bottom, paste that, and align it to the center. Have to scooch it into place because it's a UFO and it's a little bit weird, and looking good. We'll probably have to add some shading on here to try to make it look better. I'm thinking like down here, over this, and up here. But in the meantime, let's just work on player 2. So player 2 goes over here, and we'll do the same thing as we did before. Drag it aside, expand fill 2 pixels, group that up, Control X, go into the player 2 layer that we just made invisible, delete that, paste, and align, and scooch it. Oh, we don't have to scooch it in place, it looks good already. And now, I'm kind of questioning whether I want these to be holes, but I think I'll go with it. It looks pretty good. And there's also a question of, whenever you have a hole, sometimes you might want to add the glow to it. You know, like the outside here, but these holes are small enough where I don't think I'll do that. What I will do, though, is I probably should add the extra stroke down there. So an extra 0.5, because they are technically part of the outside. Right there, whoops, around the outside, right on the outside. There we go. And now I will add the extra layer. So I will come over here. Here, this part is easy since it's not shading. I can just kind of paste it here. This one, you do not expand fill extra pixels like this menu, because since it's pasted over everything, if you expand to fill it, it'll overlap this line and it'll look bad. So we'll just do it how it is. If it's very, very slightly imperfect, then that's fine. So I need to find this extra layer again. I can go into it, delete that, put this in the center, look back at here, and just scooch it into place. And that's about right. And we can double click out, and now we have our UFO. Although, again, I wanted to add this shading, so what I will do, I will go into Player 1 layer, add another drawing layer, set the stroke to something smaller, and about 2 pixels, and I'll just draw what I think will look good. Something, well, this, okay. What I'm going to do is just have this, I'll go halfway around like so, and then I will copy these, paste in place, move them over, flip horizontally, and just kind of move them into place, and I will select all of them. Okay, what you can do here is I will group these up, and I will group these up. So now you can select these two, you can align, and now you can break them both back up again, and it'll look like this. Again, there's this very, very tiny imperfection. You can either, I mean, you can honestly just drag one of these over to perfect it, but you can also just leave it because when it's zoomed out, nobody's going to see it and it doesn't really matter. So how does this look now? It's a bit better, but now it looks a bit not symmetrical. I'm not really sure what I do here, but I'm also going to add a bit of shading out here, because just having shading up there doesn't really make sense. So just like that, I will curve it into place, make it look all nice and fancy. Select both of these, paste in place, scooch all the way over here, once again, and flip it horizontally. Oops, I'll take those. They need to go a little more this way. I can group those up and group these up, select them both, and distribute so that they will be perfect. So that does look a lot better. I'm still not sure how I feel about this section. It might honestly look better as player 2, or what I could also do is have this be something in between, and all that would require, I could actually figure that out quite quick. I could take, oh, okay, well maybe not. Okay, I'm just going to do this really quick, just to see what it looks like. So I'll just take this extra part and put it in player 2. It's about there, and then the player 1 part should be, yeah, because these are connected now. But hypothetically, if this is 50%, and if the player 2 is 100%, then the parts where they overlap will be right in between the two colors. So if I did that for just that one section, it would be right in between, and that might look good for this icon. But because these are connected, but anyways, that should be a nice little guide for the UFO. Alright, and our final example icon for this video is a ball. I want to do an 8 times symmetry ball, so like it has 8 different parts to it. This is like most of the ball icons I've drawn, so let's get into it. Again, we're going to go into the player 1 layer and delete the fill. Make a new layer for the symbol rectangle, delete the stroke, and change this to white so we can see it easily. And we're going to align this like so. Now we're going to take this, turn it into a symbol with F8, copy and paste it, and press Q to open up this menu. You know the drill, bring this over to the very center. Alright, we haven't done this before. We bring this to the very center. With everything else, we could just use the align tools to get them into place, but it's much harder with this. So we're going to just bring that anchor point to the very center, just like we did with the other tools in the last few icons, and we can just rotate this 45 degrees. Do the same thing, copy, paste in place, and just keep doing this. And last one, there we go. So now we can just click into any one of these, delete that, and we can get drawing. What I generally like to do is I have an outline that's just a circle without the points, because you really don't have to follow these points of the default ball, but just for this video, we're just going to follow these a bit more. So we're going to set the stroke to 2, because that is the inside stroke size for ball icons, and we're just going to get drawing. So let's see. Just like the last time, I'm going to, well, we don't need this, we can delete that. And I'm going to take this and just lower the fill down a bit, so that we can see the other symbols here a bit easier. And I'm just going to start drawing and see what looks good. So, okay, I really like this kind of shape, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to add some circles because I feel like I don't use shapes enough in my icons. This needs to be bigger. I'll put that right on the edge. I'm not sure how to make that look good, so I'll just kind of move it away. Maybe even on the outside, I don't know. Get a little bit fancy. Maybe something like this. And I'll just kind of... oh, I don't want that. But I can... I'll just undo that and bring it to the outside. There we go. And I will keep drawing. I'll take this on the inside, maybe connect these up. I'm not sure. Whenever I don't know what to do for the center, I kind of just ignore it for a bit, and then I can come back to it. Might have that go inside of it, and at this point I'll go outside the symbol. I might just put a circle in the center. I'm not sure what else to do. And yeah, that size is good. These parts might need to be bigger because we gotta remember that Geometry Dash icons aren't that big. It also doesn't really matter which symbol we edit because all of them edit all of them. Go back to this tool. Maybe something like that. I'm not sure I like this point. So I think I can connect these, kind of round this out a bit, and then maybe add an extra part to this, see how I like that. I'm not really sure. What I might just do is keep it like this. I might... oh, yeah, that's nice. Maybe the other way instead. It's always hard to tell what looks good with these. But maybe something like this? I'm not sure. I think I'll just go with this. I'm not sure if this is something I would generally do. I really like how it has this floral pattern, but these parts aren't really doing it for me. But for the purposes of this tutorial, let's just move on. I will remember to delete the outline this time, and... right, we have to go all the way in to this deepest symbol, select it, and expand to fill. Go out one, select all of these symbols, and, oh right, this I will expand to fill, and I will select all of the symbols, break them apart, and expand to fill. And now we can take out our ink bottle tool, set the stroke size to 1, and click the very outside to add that little bit extra. And there we go. I'll click all the way out, and I will hold Shift as I drag to make this copy. which we can then break up, expand to fill, and now we can work on our colors. So I think what I might do here is I might make this center white and just have this kind of alternating pattern, sort of like this. Okay, at this point, I don't really know what I'm going to do for the colors, so I'll take what I have and bring it over to the player 1 and just kind of put it in, because you can always change around the colors later. Right. So now I will do the opposite. So I'll put here, 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 and here, and then on these 4. And just for fun, actually no, I'm going to make these outsides player 1. So I will select all these outside petals, drag them aside. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. I'll deselect that, drag these aside, expand fill 2 pixels, and I can just put them in player 1. And then I can take these 8 pieces here, drag those aside, expand fill 2 pixels, Control X, and these two look the same. No, it's the right one, that's the player 2 color. So then, oh whoops, that's a big step. Gotta group them up first, or that weird thing will happen. And then we can align them in, and start working on our glow. So for the glow, all of this is expanded to fill, so we can just take out our ink bottle tool, set the stroke size to 4, and set the stroke color to white, paste the very outside, Control X, and replace this. And for now, we're just going to take that to 0. Do I want to make this white, or do I want to just have it hollow? I'll make it white just to see what it looks like. So I will paste, whoops, this has to be like that. I'll paste that in there. Remember, we don't expand fill a couple pixels when we're dealing with the extra layer. And we'll just put that in there. And yeah, the white isn't really vibing with me, so I'm going to go back into player 1. I'm just going to make this a hole. So for that, we have to make this whole part a little bit thicker since it is now on the outside. And we'll do the same here. And make sure all of this is expanded to fill. And now I can take this, and I will make the glow for the inside. If you want to make glow for an inside hole part, it's really the same thing. You just click on the inside rather than the outside. And now we'll go in the glow layer and put it in there. And there's our icon. Okay, first of all, this part is not lined up correctly. So I need to... Is it this part? Yeah. What? Oh. Huh, I forgot the crucial step of expanding to fill. And that is why you don't do it, because you saw I had like that little pixel gap there. But it's looking a lot better now. So at this point, I would say that this ball is done. I can't see any points where I think the extra layer would really add anything. Maybe some stuff on the outsides here might look nice, but I've already shown you how to do that. So just for this tutorial, I'm gonna stop it here.